Hello and good evening. I'm Scott Eburn and tonight we're at Loughborough University for BUCS Super Rugby Round 9. Tonight's fixture sees the hosts Loughborough take on last season's Rugby Championship finalist, the University of Exeter. After a long 4.5 hour drive this evening, they are met by blustery conditions and it's starting to throw it down with some pretty challenging conditions. But the rubber crumb pitch here in the centre of campus should pave way for some fast rugby. I'm joined this evening by Morgan Roberts. Morgan, you've had a bit of a look at the teams already. We'll come to that in just a few moments' time. But last Friday evening, we were up in Newcastle at Kingston Park, where Northumbria University took on Durham in a very, very good contest there. And here are the highlights. It was Durham that had the early opportunity to score down the right wing, almost straight from the kick-off. It was unfortunately disallowed. However, they came again through the outside backs. Good play here from Kai Devine, the number 7. And a bit of juggling to go in the corner. Tom Catterick, ex-Newcastle Falcons professional, got his tally off to a good start from the tees. The BUCS Super Rugby most accurate kicker this season. Northumbria, though, well, on their home turf, weren't going to keep napping on that, and it was down at the posts. Still not quite sure who managed to get that try. Durham and the boot of Tom Catterick kept the away side in front. But some good play here from Suva Masai just around the outside, slipping through a tackle and putting in Will Muir into the corner. Will Muir had a fantastic game. A first of 2 tries for him. Keep an eye out for his second try just after half time. The first half, Durham had all the possession, all the territory, but didn't quite manage to make that pay. We're quite fortunate here in Loughborough tonight. It's about 10 degrees colder than last Friday in Newcastle. But look at this for an interception. A gift for Northumbria. 10 minutes from half time. And just on the half time whistle, Durham going in 22 points to 13 up. But here, 65 metres out, Will Muir, it'll flick off the inside foot around the defensive line. 1, 2, 3 nudges forward and he dots that one down over the line. And look at this, on a sixpence. Great crossfield kick. He was more accurate out of hand than he was off the tee. But in the last 2 minutes, Durham, well, they've been napping in the second half, but they really came back to life. A few tactical substitutions from Alex Key their head coach. And Kai Devine had a great game in the first half. Lovely dive into the corner to finish that one off. Slightly wayward kick for the conversion. Didn't manage to close in on that. Interesting to know from Durham. Had they got all their kicks and not missed 3 of them, they would have come away with a losing bonus point. So let's hope that that doesn't tell for them at the end of the season. And final score from the Northumbria Durham game, well, it was Northumbria that managed to get all 5 points and ended round 8 of the BUCS Super Rugby at the top of the table on 31 points. 6 wins from 7 games. Now, points difference of 100, 7 bonus points, a bonus point in every game so far for them. But tonight's game sees last season's bridesmaids, Exeter, come to Loughborough University. Last week, both sides having solid outings. Loughborough went to Nottingham Trent University. They came away with a huge win, the second biggest win of the BUCS Super Rugby, 63 points to 17. Whilst Exeter came away with a strong win against Cardiff, met 29 points to 24. Let's take a look at the teams. Loughborough University in the front row, Sam Grahamslaw, Callum Lynch, Andrew Nathan Boy in the second row. Well, the big man, we saw him in Loughborough's first home game of this BUCS Super Rugby season, Theo Vukasinovic. He was man of match in that game, all over the park. Henry Whedon joins him in the row. The captain tonight, Musa Youssef. We'll hear cheers of his name throughout the full 80 minutes. Andrew Bywater and Max Hill make up the back row. Alex Glashan, seen him on the wing this season, so slightly different positional change for him this evening. Partnered by Chris Davies at fly half. On the wings, Will Foster and Tim Bitterim. Quinton Costa and Richard Lewis in the centres, with Tom Fitch at fullback. Take a look at the Exeter team. Minimal changes for Exeter throughout the season, unlike Loughborough. Loughborough changed 6 from last week, including a few positional changes, but Exeter in the front row, Josh Peters, George Gosling, Jack Strong. In the second row, Simon Linsell, the captain, partner with Jack Rouse. Those two the enforcers in the second row, all season so far in the BUCS Super Rugby. The back row, ever present, Luke Pierre-Roux, Felix Madison, James McRae. Keep an eye out for those bulldozers in the back row. Ed Houchin, Sam Morley, the half-back partners. On the wings, Dom Thorne and Max Himbury. Inside centre for Exeter, well, keep an eye out for this man, Ted Landray. He's the only player to have played in all BUCS Super Rugby fixtures over the last 2 seasons. He's the all-time top point scorer in the BUCS Super Rugby. Saw him a lot at 10 last season, but he's been playing 12 so far this year. He's partnered by Sam Leahy at outside centre, and at fullback, also ever present, Mike Haynes. So an interesting stat for you. Since round 2, Exeter have kept numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 all the same. So good consistency for them. Now Morgan, let's bring you in now. What do you make of these two sides, and what's your predictions for this evening's game?
Well, I think slightly a contradictory route, but let's have a look at the reserves first of all. Exeter, they just seem to have a much stronger bench than Loughborough at the minute. Loughborough, if we look at the guys such as Seb Brownhill, look at William Elt, look at Sam Hudson, it's one of their first or second appearances for Loughborough this season. So the experience on the bench for Exeter with the likes of Callum Young, Will Cutbill, they will really come through, I think. And in terms of points, who can look anywhere beyond Ted Landry, the inside centre for Exeter? He scored 69 points in BUCS Super Rugby this time round with a kicking accuracy of just under 80%, 79.5% to be accurate according to my stats. But then again, Chris Davis, he's operating at 82.3 for Loughborough. So both have great poachers and great kickers of the ball.
Two quality kickers, and in these conditions, Morgan, we're going to be needing that, because what were you telling me earlier, 25 mile per hour gusts coming from left to right on your screen, and the rain falling down with it, and how much do you think that's going to play into the hands of both these teams this evening?
I think the kicking game, it will be slightly limited because of the weather conditions. I will see that, especially with someone like Mike Haynes at fullback for Exeter, he'll be wanting to put a load of Gary Owens on the back line of Loughborough, so Tom Fifich, for instance.
Fitch has played fly half a lot. We've seen him off the tee this season, so he's good, not with only the ball in hand, but off the tee and off his boot as well. So,
but it'll also be interesting to see what Edward Huchin and Alex Glasher, and the two scrum halves for Exeter and Loughborough, how they get on, especially with the box kicking game. We see how Eddie Jones really has tried to bring it in with Ben Youngs at the minute, and how they've got a different style with Danny Kerr as more of a running nine. So it will be really interesting to see on how the box kicking, especially because territory, especially within conditions like this, is going to be crucial. As we were alluding to earlier, Scott, it's a 4G pitch here at the University of Loughborough, so it's going to be a lot better in terms that it's not going to be muddy. The players are at least going to see each other as the University of Exeter come out onto the pitch, led by number 4, captain Simon Lindsell. Has started all of his games in BUCS Super Rugby this season and has scored 3 tries this evening, so he'll be one to watch out for as well.
So just looking back at last season's fixtures, a win for Exeter, 28-24 this time last year. Loughborough took the win in the opening game of the last season. They won 2011, but it was Exeter back in March this year who won 51 points to 28 in the BUCS Rugby Championship Cup knockout stages. So both teams braving the wind this evening. I'm sure the kick-off would have been something they would have no doubt thought about at length in the changing rooms, and interesting to see how this one plays out.
For Loughborough, they'll literally just want to do a very, very short kick-off, hanging just around the 10-metre line. That's what I would want to do. You want to win your own kickoffs. That's what you have to do. That's what Captain Musa Youssef, just down there on the bottom of your screens there, would be encouraging to his troops.
So both of these two teams, Exeter currently sits second in the BUCS Super Rugby table on 29 points. Only lost one game this season, and that was to Leeds Beckett. And they received the kick-off. Well taken under that windy ball. Rude taking that one out of the air, no problem. Marshalling here for Huchin. Looks as if he's going to send this one up, and he does. The wind causing that one to bounce pretty sternly. Fumbled. The referee blowing his whistle. Knock on though from Exeter, and Loughborough will have the put-in at the scrum.
Good contest there from both sides, and obviously the wind is going to have a real impact. I think Huchin wanted to try and kick that out into touch, but he didn't quite manage that, so it was therefore more of a contest between the two teams to try and get the ball back.
First chance to see the power of these two packs. Glashan with the put-in at the scrum on the near touch line, just inside the Exeter half.
So the referee is just calling for equal spacing between both sides. Obviously spacing is much more important with the new crouch, set, bind rules.
You always look for the power of the front row, but Exeter, Jack Strong, well, it's in his name. Let's see what he can do. big shove from both sides. See Musa Yusuf, the Loughborough captain, on our near side of the scrum here, putting his weight about. Crashed up in the centre of field by Quinton Costa.
You retained that ball well.
Quick recycling, it's into the hands of the captain, Yusuf. Yusuf managing to find a hole. Played out wide though, into the hands of Foster. Foster trying to find a gap down the outside channel. Exeter not overcommitting at the ruck so far, giving them a bit of an opportunity for the home side to recycle possession quickly. Not managing to get over the gain line though. Loughborough just being sent side to side at the moment. Well drilled Exeter defence. Good break there from Nathan Boy. Again, short ball into the hands of Bywater. Glashan, Davies. Nowhere to go. Bitterim into contact. Costa going short on his own, needs some support, and it's met by Yusuf. Fumbled though, and it's into a green pair of hands. Ted Landray looks to find Leahy. Leahy back inside, boshing off a few open shoulders. McRae, what a season he's having. We thought they'd be lacking something this season, Exeter, without Tom Lauday, but he's carried on their strong tradition of back rows. Exeter now into the 5 metre channel on the far touchline. Some good crowd out there this evening, despite the conditions. They're braving it. I'm sure a few will be heading into the SU at half time to get a few hot drinks or maybe some cold ones. Landray finding Haynes. Haynes trying to make a break on his own, supported by Dom Thorne. Done well to stay in field. Huchin to McRae. McRae boshing it up. Landray, little pop to his captain, Simon Linsell. First time we've seen him in this game in an attacking format. Himbry working his way down that far touchline. Thought that one was going to go to ground then, but it's well collected. Exeter still moving forward, working their way ever closer to the Loughborough 22. Picked out by McRae. McRae just wrapped up as he was beginning to creep away behind the Loughborough defence. Change of direction for Huchin. He finds Madison. We've spoken already about this Exeter back row. Good balance, and Madison's been paramount to that so far this season. Huchin looking for a big ball carrier. He finds Jack Rouse. He's well wrapped up though. Pressure on for Exeter. Well recycled. Gosling into the hands of Madison. Madison smashing that one up, but the referees called it back. And a good period of play there for Exeter, putting plenty of phases together, slowly but surely battling into the wind here in the first half, Morgan.
Yes, I mean, it came all from a knock-on by Callum Lynch as Loughborough were trying to get outside of the 10-metre channel beyond the halfway line. But then it was consolidated pressure from Exeter. They're not looking to do the kicking, obviously. Landry's obviously thinking we need to do the passing game instead of kicking it out, because looking at the winds here, it is just absolutely dreadful for the kickers.
So put in at the scrum for Alex Glashan. Big shove from Exeter. Pressure on here for Glashan and co. Davies tries to send that one wide into the hands of Lewis. Lewis managing to find 10 metres of space.
Brilliant steal.
Stolen by Exeter though.
Dom Thorne of Exeter, that was.
For a little man, he's got paws the size of a bear. Landray trying to find a green shirt, but it's into the hands of Loughborough. Loughborough now a chance to clear their lines, trying to use this wind, bouncing, bobbling all the way down, but it's into the hands of Dom Thorne. Good covering by the left wing. Reluctant to kick it whilst there was only 2 green shirts behind the ball.
Loughborough have to be careful, they were almost straying offside there.
Huchin looks as if he's going to send this one up, and he does. Sends it long, straight into the hands of the Loughborough number 10, Chris Davies. Davies wrapped up by Sam Leahy.
Could have been given as a high tackle there. It was almost around the shoulders.
Oh, bit of a fumble by Tom Fitch. Greasy ball. Glashan passing to no one. Pounced on by Theo Vukasinovic. Loughborough at 6s and 7s at the moment. Needing some support at the breakdown. Exeter battling hard here. Again, passes just going not where they should be. So Loughborough just composing themselves. Well put up by Alex Glashan. Didn't go as far as everyone around the ground here might have thought. But penalty to Exeter.
For tackling the man whilst he was in the air. It's a silly penalty, really. You shouldn't do it, but at the same time, he was only a foot off the ground, really. So Loughborough will be felt hard done by there with that decision, but
foot off the ground, still in the air. So penalty. Ted Landray will kick for the corner.
And as you can see with the touch judge's flag, it is incredibly windy. The wind is coming from left to right, and it is going to be very, very difficult now for George Gosling of Exeter to really make an accurate throw, probably to his captain, Simon Lindsay.
Well taken by Jack Rouse at the line out. A chance for Exeter to walk this one ever closer to the Loughborough line. Well brought down though by the home side.
Vukasinovic was offside, so that's why the penalty is being awarded to Exeter. But free play now.
Huchin into the hands of the captain, Linsell. Linsell trying to march forward, pumping those thighs into contact. Crashed up by Jack Strong. Again, good support by the Exeter forwards. There is space, but the referee bringing it back for the original penalty. You suspect that Exeter will put this one into the corner once again.
You would suspect so, because these conditions, you know, you want to do the close quarter stuff. You don't want to take any chances with the kicks whatsoever.
Another chance here for George Gosling to pick out Jack Rouse. Big D needed here from Loughborough. Well taken by James McRae. Exeter still going here. They have the momentum. Can they walk this one over? No, well brought down. I think that's Vukasinovic for Loughborough. And great work by him. You cannot stop him. He is everywhere. What a workhorse. And a well-deserved for Loughborough.
Good defence there from Loughborough, because it has just been all Exeter within this first half of the game. It has been all Exeter.
Exeter playing very well, and they certainly come here with a game plan, and that is to keep the ball moving, keep it tight. Interesting to see the defensive lineup for Exeter here. They've moved Sam Leahy in at inside centre.
But again, a really strong scrum from Exeter.
Making Loughborough work hard there, but penalty to the home side.
For boring around the side.
Loughborough playing in African Violet tonight.
Seems as if Jack Strong, who has played the last 4 Super Rugby BUCS fixtures, is going to have a number on Sam Graham's-Law this evening. You could just see it from that last scrum, how it was just wheeling around, and how powerful the front row are for Exeter.
So you can see by those strong winds, the ball not managing to get the distance, blown across to the cricket pitch adjacent to the 3G rubber scrum here at Loughborough. A few of the athletics and cross country club just coming into the shot there. Well taken by Vukasinovic. Powered at the back by the captain, Musa Yusuf, walking this one forward.
Referee is told number 9, Alex Glashan, to use it once, but it's been a box kick up.
Well taken though by Max Himbry. Max Himbry trying to go on his own, tries to palm off big Richard Lewis into the hands of Morley. Morley into the space, off the left boot, doesn't go into touch, sent straight back down into the Exeter 22, and this one's going to roll deep, is it? Oh, wow.
Only the wind could have done that.
What a magical kick. You couldn't have asked for any better in terms of accuracy, rolling 2 inches almost out of touch from the Exeter line. Pressure on here for George Gosling. He takes it quickly, taken by Linsell. Safety at the line out. They're keeping this one tight now. 12 minutes played here, and Exeter will have the chance to take a breather. I thought it was stolen there by Henry Whedon of Loughborough.
It's Loughborough guilty this time of coming around. So both sets aside are coming around in terms of fringing at line-outs. Has this one been kept in play?
Straight,
just gone out.
Straight out.
Bang on the halfway line.
Good kick from Landrate. Chance to take a breather. George Gosling now looking to pick out one of his jumpers. Hopefully they don't get blown over. At the back to Rouse. That one did not look straight, but the referee says play on. Exeter walking this one forwards. 10 metres made here already, still going. No stopping the boys in green, working hard through Gosling with the ball at the back. Sacked by Vukasinovic. Morley now looking to use it. Landrate out wide to Haynes. Haynes finding his right wing, Himbry. Himbry taken to ground 5 metres in from that far touchline, 35 metres out from the Loughborough try line. McRae crashing up, can't miss him tonight in his light blue scrum hat. Morley showing fleet of foot, comes back inside, didn't find much of a hole but managed to make some good metres. Landrate picking out Peters. Peters needing some support at the breakdown. It's snaffled by Loughborough here. Turnover. Good work at the breakdown by Loughborough. They're looking to go through Lewis. Lewis crashing up inside. Glashan looking for some clearance at the breakdown. He picks out Nathan Boy. Sent backwards by the Exeter pack.
Good contest by both of the captains there.
And well cleared in the end by Chris Davies. Great from Loughborough. Turnover at the breakdown. Recycling through a few phases and not taking any chances. Using this wind behind them. Big clearance kick by Chris Davies. Perhaps not as good as the previous one, which landed.
It was literally 2 metres out. If there were no winds, that would have gone straight out and it would have been back for a scrum on the 22. But with the wind, it just seemed to just do a shepherd's crook on it to back in. We haven't really seen that much kicking in this game in terms of out of hand. We've seen a couple from either side, but both teams are really looking to keep the ball in hand because of the conditions as the rain comes down again.
Looks as if just a bit of a knock to a few of the Loughborough boys. Left the camera there. Musa Yusuf, the captain, just trying to gee up his forwards as they approach this line out. Ball in the hands of Callum Lynch, the Loughborough hooker tonight. Suspect he'll try and pick out Theo Vukasinovic. And he does. Great line out ball for Loughborough. Chance to start walking this one forward, getting some momentum.
The going infield, which is what you would want to do as a forward pack. You wouldn't want it to be taken out into touch like England against Wales in the last World Cup.
Glashan picking out an inside ball for Tim Bittram. They'd lined that one up 30 seconds before, but Exeter didn't read it. Trying to go now down the far touchline. Almost finding a hole was Tom Fitch. Crashed up by Max Hill. And Max Hill goes in for the first try of the game. Great ball off the line out for Loughborough. They walked that one infield in front of the post, 22 metres out. 2 phases, and it's the first try of the game for Max Hill.
It was great play, as we could see. The backs, they were just able to do the wide passing infield. Cut down there. And you could just see that Exeter forwards were just ball watching. The captain for Exeter, Simon Lindsay, he was too far apart from the closest defender. Hence the score from Max Hill.
I mean, what a beautiful flat pass. Fast ball as well from that final breakdown 5 metres out. But flat pass from Glashan straight into the bread basket of Max Hill. And you were saying before the game, Max Hill, we'd not seen him at 8 so far this season, usually been at 6 or 7. But taking to number 8 in this Loughborough first 15 like a duck to water, quite literally with the rain we've got coming down right now. So a bit of support here for Chris Davies off the tee. Well struck.
Good.
Straight through the lollipop style uprights here at Loughborough.
A very, very good kick considering the conditions. Very, very good kick.
So Loughborough lead 7 points to Exeter's nothing. 19 minutes played here in the East Midlands.
And with all of the pressure in Northern Territory, Exeter will be disappointed with the first 20 minutes. They had opportunities to score, but they didn't convert them, and Loughborough lead by 7 points to 0 early.
Great clearance by Glashan, not taking any chances. Straight from the kick-off. Caught it cleanly and sent it straight back.
And that's exactly what you want to do in terms of an exit strategy. Just apologies for the specks of rain that you can see on our cameras, ladies and gentlemen, because of the weather. There might be a few rain spots there, but we'll try and get them cleaned up as much as possible from our cameramen.
Good line out by Loughborough. Landray taking it into contact. McRae having a go this time, and he mows over a couple of Loughborough defenders. Can't stop a man like him when he's running at pace. Haynes almost finding a gap.
Good counter-rucking.
Loughborough working very hard at the breakdown. Thought they'd won that then, but knocked it on through Henry Whedon. And it will be Exeter with the put-in at the scrum. So both teams working very hard on the floor in this game so far. Interesting to note, just following on from that Max Hill try, Loughborough have got the most try scorers this season out of the BUCS Super Rugby. 21 different try scorers. And this is only round 9, so perhaps reflects the amount of changes they're having to do week in, week out, just counteracting the National One side.
But it also reflects on how competitive and how also competent each member of the squad is. You know, if you have 21 different scorers and a penalty going for Exeter.
Landray no doubt going to ping this one into the corner.
Josh Petrosy getting the better of Andrew Nathan Boy again in that scrum.
Morley this time going to find touch with his left boot. Felt like it was one of those 25 mile an hour gusts as he hit that, and it's not gone into touch. So Loughborough trying to run it out of their 22. Exeter caught napping. Great break by Will Foster. Glashan being snaffled at the breakdown, needed more support from his forwards. He picks up the loose ball. 0 from Loughborough, using the forwards, taking it off the back of the ruck. Whedon. Some slow ball now for Loughborough. Glashan, though, sends this one up. Again, the wind causing havoc, but it's well taken. Looking to use this down the far touchline. Lewis chasing his own kick, but it's well taken by Exeter, trying to mop up 5 metres or so out from their try line.
It was brilliant work initially by Forster to do the little grubber through, but he then just went over the man rather than onto the ball, trying to latch his arms onto it.
Huchin sending that one high. It's going to land centre field, just 30 metres or so in front of Exeter posts. Costa going on his own, but he's sent straight backwards by a solid Exeter defence. Davies trying to use this out wide. Good step in by Tim Bittrim. Lost in contact.
You could see the intentions of what they were trying to do there, but Loughborough scramble again.
Fumble constantly here, and Callum Lynch, the Loughborough hooker, with the ball in hand. Nathan Boy acting scrum half, not a position you see very often from a front row. Exeter pressing hard in defence.
Penalty advantage, probably for an offside. Yep, coming back. High tackle, according to the referee.
So some frantic passages of play here. We're only 22 minutes into this game, into the second quarter. Simon Linsell just having a word with Ted Landro there. He was the committer of that high tackle. So Davies going to shunt this one down into the corner.
He was very lucky, Landry, not to cost his side another 10 metres there, because that's kind of the set attitude for referees. If you get any sort of back chat, it's another penalty against you, another 10 metres back in that sort of circumstance. I used to do it. Lawrence Delalio, of course, the winning flanker for England as they won the World Cup 14 years ago today. We used to be like that against referees. Now it has to be stamped out.
Bit of a hash from Loughborough. Not straight at the line out either, so...
And an early jump, which
there
makes
was
things even worse.
All things wrong with that could possibly go wrong. Breather for Exeter. Landry, well, he'll take a punt at this one. Thinking that one long, not gone into touch. Will Foster coming back inside for Fitch. Now Bittrim trying to go on his own. He's not held, or he was. So Glashan picking out Bywater, rolling forward 5 metres or so. Yusuf, the captain, back with ball in hand. Glashan with the box kick. Much better from him this time. Collected by Morley. Morley trying to find some space, but he's ran straight into a solid African violet wall. Huchin picking out Linsell. And again, but this time Luc Pierre Roux, stolen by Loughborough. Grubber deep into the Exeter 22. Morley going to have to mop this one up. Waits for it to roll over the try line. He dots that one down. 22 metre dropout for Exeter.
Very unlucky for Richards. It almost looked as if it would go out, but it just bobbled over the try line. Hence the 22. There's been a lot of exchange of the ball, from knock-ons and passes going astray. Both teams, and especially Loughborough, still wanting to implement their offloading game, which is a good sign.
So that one's sent high, taken by Bittrim. Bittrim, seen him at fullback a lot for Loughborough this season, but tonight deployed on the right wing. He goes back inside. Glashan picking out a forward pod, crashed up. That was a try score on Max Hill, being sent backwards there. Vukasinovic head first into contact. Nathan Boy boshing off Luke Pierre-Roux. Davis with the crossfield kick.
Too much on that one.
Not enough space on this near touchline. That's straight into touch. Exeter with the line out. Just inside, a nudge inside their own half. Just mentioned it, Morgan. Both teams losing possession, winning possession. Probably an indictment of the conditions tonight.
It probably is. I mean, we've got very, very strong gusts. It's been rainy, so the ball is going to be very, very slippery, and players are going to slip on this 3G, 4G, whatever you want to call it. This pitch surface, they could slip quite easily off it as well. I think also that both teams, they're slightly panicking a little bit. Exeter possibly more so because they're obviously down on the scoreboard. So it's just a case of both teams just calming it down. I mean, we've not even had half an hour played of the game yet, so we'll just have to see in terms of how either side can control the territory and the possession of the ball.
So 27 minutes played. Loughborough lead at home to the University of Exeter 7 points to 0. This is BUCS Super Rugby round 9. Remember, you can get in touch via Twitter and social media, hashtag BUCS Super Rugby. If you're listening via Unilad, hello and welcome to the East Midlands. About 14-15 degrees here tonight. Huge gust of wind, it's spitting rain as well, making that ball ever greasier as time goes on. If you're new to the BUCS Super Rugby as well, this season 9 teams. Nottingham Trent joined us after promotion at the end of last season. 16 games each team will play, and at the end of the season the top team is crowned BUCS Super Rugby champion. Last year that was Hartpury, different story for them. So far this season, the University of Exeter, the away side tonight, certainly will be in the mix based on their current standings. Landry though grubbering that one forward. Morley hacking it on. Chase on now for Thorne and Morley, collected by Will Foster, the Loughborough left wing.
Good intent there from Landry, seeing the space and seeing the gaps and the opportunities, but unfortunately the speedsters weren't able to quite get to Tom Fitch.
So it almost feels as that's one of the first times we've been into the Loughborough 22. Exeter with a lot of possession in the middle of the field. Booted down by Davis. Morley with a return off the left boot. Swirling out, well taken though by Bittrim. Bittrim coming back inside off his right foot, showing the dummy and going again. Wrapped up by Madison and Root. And it's turnover ball for Exeter. Good reward for their work on the floor. And looked to be Sam Leahy getting the applause from his teammates.
Great little bit of turn work over there by Leahy. You know, it's in those moments where you have to secure your kick-off. Tom Bittrim had done all of the hard work, but his forwards weren't able to just get up to him.
Pinged into the 22 by Landry. Ted Landry, of course, part of the England students squad earlier this year. Been playing for Plymouth Albion as well. It's part of his rugby development. Linsell, well taken. Good arrows at the line out as well for George Gosling, the Exeter hooker. They start to walk this one closer to the Loughborough line, in the hands of Josh Peters. Gone to ground.
Penalty advantage.
Hoochin using it. Morley off his left hand, trying to play it wide. Going backwards. But they do have the penalty advantage, and the referee will come back. So potentially a chance for Exeter here to get some points on the board.
It's a difficult one, this one, because do you go for the kick because of the conditions, or do you do as Exeter have done with Landry, decide to go for the 5 metre scrum, because their forwards do seem to be really, really powerful, especially with good throwing from George Gosling.
Or not so good that time. Commentators curse Morgan.
It happens sometimes.
They'll wish you hadn't have said that.
Well, normally Gosling is very, very good, but I think the wind had just picked up as Gosling threw the ball into the line now. We could hear the gusts of wind coming across. So, a bit unlucky for Gosling there, but Loughborough bring the scrum back into the 15-metre channel.
It will be an extra put in, so still a chance for them to attack through their back contingent. It looks as if they're going to play this one around the back to Ted Landry. Good shove coming out the side. Hoochin having to pounce on that one to stop it being snaffled by Glashan, rather, into the hands of Loughborough though. Whedon taking that one up. Nathan Boy again, the front row at 9.
Oh, here we go from the 22.
John Hughes going down the left wing there, pinging it off his left boot. Exeter though in open play. Dom Thorne chipping that one forward, just taken out after the ball left his boot. Glashan sending it straight back, and that is going to go flying into touch and almost into the AstroTurf pitch adjacent to us.
Great defence again from Loughborough, but poor execution from Exeter. You know, at the back of the scrum, Edward Hoochin, he wasn't able to get the ball secure. James McRae, it just seemed to go through his legs there at that point, so unfortunately they were not able to secure the scrum from there, and with that the chance of getting a try to potentially level it.
Another chance lost for Exeter, but they do have another line out. Great steal in the air from Theo Vukasinovic, just pouring that one out of Simon Linsel's hands. A great battle between both number 4s today on the pitch. Glashan going quickly in the hands of Richard Lewis. Big centre pairing for Loughborough today. This time though, Bywater into contact. Glashan trying to find a hole, goes on his own, breaking through into the Exeter half. No scrum half, so somebody's got to step in, and that is Bywater. Bywater to Davis. Loughborough very flat, and that's fumbled through the hands. Again, no scrum half there, so Vukasinovic comes in. Picks out Bywater. Bywater sent backwards. This Exeter defence are not taking any prisoners. Flashing there this time though.
Charge down.
Tries to send it up. It is charged down very nicely by Jack Rouse.
Oh, great little pass from Peters.
Down the near touchline, Bittrim looked as if he was going to get away, but just nudged into touch by Felix Madison. So again, another opportunity. It feels as if Exeter have had 100 lineouts this evening already, and it's only 33 minutes played. Well taken this time though by Simon Linsell. Landry at first receiver, round the back to Morley, bringing Dom Thorne in off the left wing into the hands of Haynes. Haynes going on his own, well taken down, gain 25 metres or 20 metres there for Exeter. Ball still live for them. Morley picking out George Gosling.
Oh, great work from number 3 Nathan Boy of Loughborough.
Pouncing on that one. It's Dom Thorne off his left boot. Sends that one bouncing down into some space. Glashan collecting it. He finds Bittrim.
Ooh, risky pass.
Yusuf looks as if tripping over the Exeter player on the floor there as well. Yusuf looks as if he passed that from his wrists. Taken by Landry though. He grubbers that one through. It's going to be collected here by Haynes. Haynes trying to go on his own. Doesn't quite get there. Oh, we need that to go to the TMO. It was John Hughes, the number 21.
I think Exeter got it actually.
Number 21 for Loughborough, coming back like a train from the left wing, trying to get down on that one. The referee going to his assistant, just left of camera. Simon Linsell waiting and hoping, and I couldn't call that one. It looked though as if as if John Hughes had touched that one down, but
I think there was an extra hand on it.
there was, but did it come after a Loughborough hand first? And we can't quite see down into that left corner, but it does appear as if it's going to be a Loughborough 22 dropout. Well,
Very, very tricky. But a penalty for Loughborough. It looks as if it was shirt tugging was the penalty.
so it seems as if the assistant referee saw something in the build-up to that as they were chasing back. Penalty 5 metres out from the Loughborough try line. We'll hopefully try and get a replay or slow-mo of that. Be interesting to see. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that game-changing moment. Ball almost bouncing
Into the commentary box.
Yeah, and we're fortunately tonight wrapped up.
Inside.
Yeah,
We're not going to do an Ugo Monia catch it and then throw it to the hooker who's throwing it into the line out. Callum Lynch will obviously want to be getting his accurate throw to Vukasinovic.
goes to the back. It eventually finds Vukasinovic. He wasn't the jumper this time though. Crashing up, needs some support. That's met by Nathan Boy and co. 36 minutes played here. Sent high, straight into touch. The referee will come back though. So only one score in this game. That was by Loughborough's number 8 Max Hill. Just after the first quarter. Well converted by Chris Davies. A lot of rugby in the middle of the park so far in this game. Exeter just missing out on a chance through Mike Haynes a moment ago, diving on the ball after a grubber through by Ted Landray. Another chance for them here though at the end of the first half, but
Not straight.
not straight.
And again, it's the wind, as you can see the leaves being blown across the pitch. It is very, very difficult for the likes of Gosling and for Lynch to get accurate throws if just a sudden gust of wind then takes the ball away.
We've still not seen anyone go short at the line out to try and combat that. Interesting to see if that is something that is used by both teams as we approach the second half. Glashan. Alex Glashan for Loughborough with a put in at the scrum. Huge heave for Exeter. That's a turnover at the scrum and it's a penalty as well. Now you must think at this point in the game they want to go in at half time within a score.
I think they just have to
For the
judge it on the
posts.
wind more than anything else, because no, it looks as if Landray is going to go to the corner yet again. We've still got only 2 minutes of the second half yet left to play, so they're playing within the exact area that they want to.
You can't knock Exeter for trying. They know their quality, they know their consistency throughout this season and last. Of course, they were second place in the BUCS Super Rugby for 2016-2017 and second place in the Rugby Championship at Twickenham back in March. Well taken at the line out though by James McRae. Loughborough working this one closer.
Vukasinovic has done extraordinarily well to bring it down and to almost stifle possession.
Rouse cleaning up, trying to go on his own. Hoochin picking out Peters. Peters still rolling forward. They have numbers left or right. They're looking for a carrier. Big hits from the Loughborough defence. Rouse trying to go on his own. Looks as if he's almost going to be held up. It's gone to ground though. McRae.
Absolutely crucial with 1 minute left to play for Loughborough that they don't concede a score.
But on the other hand, very crucial for Exeter to try and get one before half time. Still working hard. Hoochin doesn't really have any support at the breakdown. He's snaffled up. Still Exeter ball though. Rouse walking this one, almost crawling over the 3G pitch here at Loughborough. Almost every man in that breakdown. Still working hard. Surely they're going to go wide. Exeter appear to have numbers outright, but it's stolen. And stolen very well. Hughes sending that one into touch. And I think that will mean Loughborough will go in at half time.
We've still got to play the line out though, but
And the referee saying we still have time, yeah.
But brilliant defence again from Loughborough, right at their close quarters. Absolutely brilliant from the forwards.
So another crack at the whip for Exeter. Gosling been true with his throws so far. Landray picking out Morley. Morley trying to go through a gap, goes on his own. It's into the hands of Leahy. Leahy's going to go over. And what a try to end this first half. Straight off the set piece. Sam Leahy, the outside centre. Great play by Ted Landray and Sam Morley. But Loughborough, they didn't see that one coming. They'd already imagined themselves in the changing rooms at half time. Gosling picking out Linsell at the line out. Morley finding the gap, show and go, gives it to Leahy. Great tracking from the outside centre. And that's over for their first score of the game. And what a time to score it, just shy of half time.
It is absolutely brilliant. It's a killer blow for Loughborough, but a killer sucker punch returned from Exeter. Having all of the pressure and quite a lot of the territory, they finally had to come with some reward down at the 22. Landray just waiting for a kicking tee. And it is absolutely crucial that this one goes over, because it means that if this goes over,
all square at half time.
And you have to think that Exeter, they've had a couple of chances in this first half that they haven't converted, and they'd be glad to get that one finally on the scoreboard.
So Landray, supported by Dom Thorne. Definitely not Chris Davies. Ted Landray, can't miss him with that strapping around his head. Pings that one over, sends it all the way into the town centre, and that is half time. 7-all at half time. A really strong start from Exeter. Loughborough just managing to build some momentum themselves throughout this first half. Both sides, no doubt, happy to be going in at half time. Morgan, your thoughts on the first half? Who do you think has come in the happiest after the first 40 minutes?
Well, I think that both sets of sides will feel that they've dropped a lot of ball, they've given away a lot of possession. I think that both sets of forwards will be happy for different reasons. I think that Exeter, they've been very, very good in terms of their scrummaging. For Loughborough, they've been quite good at stealing Exeter's line out and within their forward play. But I'd have to say that the backline defence of Loughborough, including their forwards, has just been absolutely immense right up to that try being scored. And for the try coming for Loughborough, it was a good, clear-cut chance, and it was quickly taken as well by the scorer, Max Hill, who normally starts at 7. Is a bit of a Jack Clifford sort of figure. I think that both sets of sides, they'll just want to keep the possession a lot better within this second half. And obviously with Exeter playing from left to right, they're going to be wanting to put the kicks in now.
So the first score we saw from Max Hill, but good pressure towards the end of that second half by Exeter. Sam Leahy going over. We thought the referee was going to blow the whistle for half time, but there was enough time for the line out, and good job for Exeter that there was. Big advantage for them coming in all square at half time. But we would have perhaps thought coming into this game that the consistency of the Exeter lineup would have paid dividends. Yeah, they've not had many changes throughout the season, whereas Loughborough, they've been chopping and changing week in, week out. What can we expect in the second half from both teams, and do you think that consistency from Exeter is going to pay off?
I think the consistency will pay off. Obviously, both sides have now had 40 minutes to test out the weather conditions to whatever they feel is good in terms of the wind. Obviously, it could change once the second half starts off. And I think that the bench for Exeter will be of a huge difference, because the bench for Loughborough is nowhere near as experienced, and Exeter, they've got try scorers in their reserves, so I think that will be the crucial difference.
So let's take a look at the highlights from that first half. This was the first score from Max Hill. Look at this for a flat pass from Glashan. Lovely, and a great line. Hot knife through butter. Cliche. But it was elegant play.
So it was a great running line from Tom Fitch of Loughborough in order to then set up that opportunity. See here, so the ball comes to Tom Fitch and they could have passed it out wide to the winger, but Max Hill obviously gets the quick ball from Alan Glashan.
This is the conversion. The wind behind the backs of Loughborough in that first half. It was Chris Davies though off the tee. Exeter not giving him the ball, or they couldn't quite find a secondary one. Good to see a couple hundred turning out tonight for this game. Not perfect conditions for spectating. Chris Davies here. Well, he scored 28 points so far in the BUCS Super Rugby this season. Currently sitting 8th on the points scoring table across all 9 sides. Yeah, and despite only seeing 2 tries in this game, you can see the post anchoring in the wind there as he took that conversion.
As you alluded to there, it's just so hard and so difficult for players when they have the wind like that. So, and this was the missed chance. Now, this is the one I thought was a try. I don't know whether we're going to see any more replays of that if we can.
Well, Mike Haynes certainly thought he'd scored there. It was great covering by John Hughes of Loughborough. But right on half-time, straight from the line out, Gosling to Linsell, Hutchin to Landry, Morley to Leahy. Leahy crashing his way over 2 Loughborough tacklers, not managing to stop him. But we were saying that both of these two sides, they're top 2 out of the 3 best scoring teams in this BUCS Super Rugby this year. And we've only seen 2 tries in this game. We're hoping for more in the second half.
But I think that's just indicative to the weather conditions. Just to go back onto that last try, the first thing for Exeter was that Felix Madison produced a great block in order to then set up that try, and they're obviously using the 10 and 12, so Sam Morley and Ted Landry as 2 10s operating, just like Wales tried to do with Dan Bigger and Owen Williams, trying to use 2 10s operating within that channel, and then eventually the pass went to Sam Leahy and it was just a counter in for him.
So, first half, Loughborough 7, Exeter 7. Let's take a look at Loughborough team's video from Twickenham back in September.
We've got coaches that are just incredibly enthusiastic, and it's hard not to buy into their ethos when they're as enthusiastic as they are. This year we've got an amazing team of analysts. We've got some sports science support, S&C support, obviously physiotherapy support, and it's just fantastic, and it's just that multi-dimensional approach to the game, and it's really helped us come along.
In terms of our coaching team, we've got sort of 5 coaches coaching within the performance programme at the top end of the club, all looking after their own individual sort of specific areas.
We're lucky enough to have a couple of ex-players themselves, and Gerard Mullen, George Shooter, who's obviously played internationally. We've got Gareth Harris, who's just come in, he's doing fantastic. Gerard and Gaz, they've worked their way up from BUCS 2s in the past couple of years, and now they're coaching in our BUCS 1 National 1 team. So not only are the players developing, the coaches are developing themselves.
hard to know what is a good coach. I mean, there's a lot of different coaches out there, a lot of different styles. I think first and foremost, you've got to understand your environment and your players and how to get the best out of them.
I think a good coach is able to kind of take all those raw materials, understand what he's got, and then put them together into a good product. And how he does that will be different from one person to another. So I think that's understanding what you've got and then sort of creating it.
With the coaches here, what they're really able to do is that we're able to communicate with them on a personal level as well as a professional level, and that allows us to develop as players more because we can have those honest conversations about where you stand as a player within the club and where they feel that you will develop best.
I think my first year here was a real eye-opener because I'd come from an environment that was very much about winning and performing and getting results and all that. Whereas coming into this environment, it's a lot more of it's about player development, and as a coach, you can't just focus on performance. You have to work out how to get that performance out. I think you've got to have 100% belief in what you're doing. There's no point in, as a coach, saying something and actually not really believing it, not really backing it to the hilt. So whether it's a playing philosophy, whether it's a coaching style, I try to be myself. I think I just like to try and be as honest and straightforward as possible.
Last year, the Loughborough performance squad, our average was higher than the university average in terms of their degree, which is of huge credit to the guys living excellence across the board. And our last two captains have come out with firsts as well under some considerable stress of leading the first team in RFU National 1. When we meet with the guys, it's not just talking about rugby, it's talking about how their course is going, it's talking about are we living the values of the club as well.
We've got a fantastic culture here. I think that's one of the main things that draws people here. Outside of rugby, the whole sport of Loughborough is just huge. I mean, you go into the gym here and you've got Olympic swimmers, gymnasts, Paralympians. So the whole sport culture is there, and I guess rugby is just a part of that. But it's our part of it.
Rugby on campus is a really high-profile sport, but that does mean that we've got to sort of take the sport in the best spirit. So the values of the game, our club values, are very important. So honesty, hard work, teamwork, striving for excellence. They're some of the things which the lads will hopefully evidence in their training and playing behaviours.
I think the main attraction to rugby for me is just the team environment. I absolutely love the boys here. We love hanging out together. Probably my closest group of friends and a group of boys that I know I'll stay in touch with for the rest of my life.
So back for the second half. Exeter already out on the pitch. Loughborough and the referee's assistants making them wait. Morley doesn't seem too bothered though. The Exeter fly half soaking up these conditions quite literally.
I'm very, very glad to be commentating inside this warm, lovely building. It has to be said.
Yeah, it could be worse for us here, but proper rugby conditions out there on the Loughborough rubber crumb. All square at half time. Max Hill and Sam Matey, the try scorers for Loughborough and Exeter respectively. So predictions for this second half, Morgan?
Yeah, it is very, very difficult. And I think the weather, again, is going to make its impact. But I think that with the Exeter bench, it's a very, very strong bench. And I think that Exeter might come out on top, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Well taken by the try scorer Hill, straight from the kickoff. Already head first into traffic. Glashan clears, and that has gone straight into touch. Exeter will have a line out straight in front of us here, 40 metres from the Loughborough line. No substitutions I'm aware of at half time. We'll notify you as and when they do. Wind curling that one. Well taken though, through the hole. And that is Leahy, the try scorer. Leahy still going, trying to palm off 2, 3, 4 Loughborough tacklers. Leahy now 2 metres from the Loughborough line. Exeter come out with a rocket in this second half. Madison trying to crash up. Strong going with a few supporters. Loughborough trying to slow this one down, and they have done so. Still an opportunity for Exeter. 60 seconds into this second half. Keeping it tight with the forwards. McRae flying in there for support. Peters trying to go on his own. Crawling that one ever closer to the Loughborough line. Again, Exeter hitting hard, but good defence from Loughborough.
Exeter's attack, they really need to get this ball out wide.
There is space out on that pitch, but they're keeping it tight so far. Huchin just trying to marshal his forwards. Sideways they go, Exeter. They need some punch, and McRae has that. McRae goes, and McRae, he scores at the start of this second half. Exeter picking up where they finished off. And of course, James McRae, he crashed that one over. Must have been 15 or 20 phases there for Exeter, and then rewarded with a good score at the start of this second half.
Good consolidated pressure from the Exeter forwards. James McRae with his 3rd try of the season, and you have to think that was a perfect start to the second half with Exeter as far as they're concerned. And with Ted Landry taking the conversion, you'll certainly have the wind behind him, but as whether it will be taken across, and the posts are also swaying to and fro because of the wind conditions here at Loughborough University.
He does have the wind behind him this time though. No need for anyone to get down on their knees and hold the ball in position. Well struck by Landry, but it's not straight through the post. He's pulled that one wide. So the score, 43 minutes played. Loughborough 7, Exeter 12. A great start to the second half by the away side.
It has to be a short hanging restart for Loughborough. Enough airtime for the forwards to catch up.
Deep restart by Loughborough. Well taken, tiptoeing on the touchline by Max Himbry, but he is bolted into the hoardings. So an opportunity for Loughborough to mount an early attack of their own at the start of this second half. Callum Lynch sending it over the top. It is picked up though by Seb Brownhill of Loughborough. He's on number 17, front row replacement for Nathan Boy at half time. Still with Loughborough. Crashed up through Vukasinovic. Glashan still going to the far touchline. Landry in there with a big hit. And Loughborough have fumbled, so it will be a green ball. Bit of afters there.
A little bit of handbags, but that'll calm down, as it were. But again, it is literally just about consolidating and where the pressure is. And unfortunately, that time for Loughborough, they just knocked the ball on.
Musa Youssef, the Loughborough captain, just getting some clarification there from the referee. Huchin with the put-in at the scrum. Looking back at the last 6 seasons between these two sides, 6 games played. Exeter have won 4, Loughborough have won 2. So the home side looking to change that tonight, and a good turnover at the scrum, trying to go on their own. Hughes down this near touchline. Glashan picking out Bywater. Bywater on the long run and crash.
Yeah, and at that point I thought it was for a double movement, but it was actually for holding the ball on. Great defensive work from the Exeter forwards when the pressure was at its peak there.
Bit harsh there perhaps on Loughborough. He'd only hit the deck and a split second later the whistle blown. So Exeter and Morley looking to send that one long and using the wind straight into touch. And Exeter will have the line out inside the Loughborough half.
And again you can see how the wind is dictating the state of play with the touch judge's flag. And again, Gosling was very, very lucky there. Oh no, the referee did spot it.
Yes, knock on. So a Loughborough scrum inside their own half. Just thinking back to that Sam Morley boot, it was a 60-metre boot off his left foot, 2 metres in from this near touchline, so a good hoof from him, certainly using the wind to his advantage, but no more advantage for Exeter. Loughborough with the scrum. Good battle tonight. We've seen through the scrum halves Alex Glashan and Ed Hoochin both mixing up play, not just kicking. Much better scrum from Loughborough. Much better. And they have won the penalty. And a big shove up front by Sam Graham-Slaw, wearing number 1 on his back for Loughborough. Sam Graham-Slaw, part of the Leicester Tigers setup, England under 18, and he only switched from back row to front row back in March this year. Incidentally, his first 2 games at front row were for the national side, England under 18s. Another fun fact for you, he was born in Paris, so certainly still learning his trade at front row, but excellent job in the scrum there.
Yeah, big news from Paris today with Rowan O'Gara heading down to New Zealand to coach the Crusaders, so just a little bit of fun news there for you as Vukasinovic takes the ball.
Glashan now finding Costa. Costa didn't have much momentum going into that, but ball well retained by Loughborough. Bywater putting some weight behind that one as they begin to walk it closer. Referee.
It was a penalty because I think it might have been the Exeter fly half, Sam Morley, for sticking his hand in the ruck and slapping the ball out of Alex Glasham's grasp. So it's a tricky decision here for Loughborough because obviously the wind is going to dictate things, so taking the penalty would obviously reduce the deficit.
Mother's meeting by Loughborough there to decide what to do. Not enough time to make tea, and they will go for the posts with Chris Davies. On a regular day, I'm sure he'd sink 100 of these, but in these conditions on a dark, gloomy night in the East Midlands, perhaps not so straightforward.
Very, very tricky. The winds are really, really picking up, so he's against the wind here.
So Davies, his second shot at goal this evening. Think that one nicely, but he's pulled it wide of the left upright. So 22-metre dropout for Exeter. Just shows how tough the conditions are this evening.
No problems in terms of distance.
Costa taking it up, supported by Hughes and Vukasinovic at the breakdown. Glashan finding Lynch. Davies picking out Vukasinovic and co. A little gap here. Loughborough going down the right wing. Bittrim going on his own, trying to pick out Lynch. The hooker still going. Well tackled.
Brilliant offload, but it didn't go to hand.
Inches away from the palms of Chris Davis, the Loughborough fly half. What support down that far touchline by Callum Lynch, tiptoeing his way round like the Tooth Fairy.
He's not quite that and got the dexterities of a Tooth Fairy, but he showed great pace down that right-hand flank as Loughborough go again.
It is Lynch again, picking out Max Hill, who was sent backwards. Change of direction for Glashan finding Bittrim. Well tackled by Linsell though. The Exeter captain working hard around the park. Lynch trying to muscle his way over James McRae. Davis picking out the captain, Yusuf.
Nice offload.
Plays it back to Quinton Costa. And now Loughborough down this near touchline through Hughes. Hughes just being tackled outside the Exeter 22.
Referee just saying that the ball went backwards. Play on.
Bywater, a bit of a hospital pass there to Yusuf, and Exeter have turned it over. Penalty, though, for Loughborough.
For me, that's a harsh penalty against Exeter there. I thought that the flanker there for Exeter, Felix Madison, was perfectly entitled to do that.
Good clinical decision making from the referee though. Managed the game very well so far in this game. 52 minutes played. Loughborough trail 7 points to Exeter's 12. They have a line out 6 metres out from the Exeter try line. Exeter ended the first half very well, making it 7-7 at half time, and they came out at the start of this half even better with a try for James McRae. Lynch picking out Yusuf at the line out. Loughborough trying to muscle this one forward in the hands of the hooker Callum Lynch. Pot of 3 for Loughborough, trying to walk this one forward. They have no momentum and it's gone to ground. Simon Linsell snaffling things. That bottom corner, can't quite see what's going on, but it's still in the hands of the African Violets.
They'll just be doing picking and going as Vugasinovic goes in.
Trying to replicate what Exeter did 11 minutes ago. Yusuf carrying in the captain.
And a try!
And that was Callum Lynch. I think Callum Lynch, the hooker, well, he started that from the line out. We saw him over the other side of the pitch 5 minutes ago, tiptoeing down the touchline. But this time, in close quarters, crashing over. And Loughborough levelling the scores here after 53 minutes.
It was just steady pressure, and he was able to duck and dive and weave zigzag across the Exeter defence there, who weren't as quite up in the line up there as they had been in previous defensive set of plays, and for Loughborough that had to come.
Loughborough just wearing down Exeter. And Chris Davies with a chance to convert this one. We saw him miss his second attempt at goal. Tom Fitch, the fullback there, keeping that one level, but doesn't do much good. So 2 tries apiece.
So obviously in the second half, conversions proving even more difficult to convert, even by being 20 or 30 metres out.
Sam Morley restarting this one, sending it high and long. Clearance from Glashan, just bouncing in front of McRae as that goes into touch.
He'll be disappointed with that. It was an easy one to catch within the breadbasket, but he just let it bounce straight into touch.
No hassle for Exeter, as they will have the line out on the Loughborough 10-metre line, just in front of us here on the near touch line. Gosling with the line out. Didn't look to be straight and looked as if it was fumbled, but well taken by Linsell. Crashed up by Madison. Madison hitting a hard straight line centre field. Good recycling of the ball here by Exeter. Morley.
Penalty advantage to Exeter.
Kieran Kelly into contact there. Substitution number 21 for Exeter.
Another penalty. Looked as if there was a high tackle against the Exeter players there.
Landry with the grubber into the corner. Weighted perfectly. But the referee is going to bring this one back for the penalty. Penalising Loughborough for not rolling away. So they will have possession centre of the field, with Landry going to opt for the post there just to keep their noses in front. Strong start to this second half by both sides. 57 minutes played. And Landry.
We saw him in the warm-ups and he was booting these over from this sort of distance, so with 69 points in BUCS Super Rugby, he'll be fairly confident with this one, but with another strong gust of wind, you'll have to adjudge this very, very carefully.
Ted Landry, only player for University of Exeter to score in all of their BUCS Super Rugby games since the start of last season. That one though, not quite accurate enough.
That's another missed chance for Exeter to regain the lead, obviously. And, you know, leaving 5 points on the park is absolutely huge in terms of the conditions that we have here at Loughborough University. The wind and the rain, those kicks are very, very valuable to building that score and building that lead.
So, for Fitch with the dropout, well collected by Linsell. Simon Linsell, 3 tries for the University of Exeter this year. Joint top of their try scoring list. No player for the University of Exeter this season scoring more than 3. Hoochin to Morley. Morley to Landry. Landry trying to go on his own, stepping back inside, trying to find a gap. Gets sat down by Whedon. Exeter trying to muscle their way over into the Loughborough half. One up runner. Substitution on for Exeter in the front row. Will Cutbill comes on as Hoochin sends this one high and long. Well taken by Fitch.
And that's sensible play from Fitch. You know, he didn't really have that much support in back cover, so this will be just another chance to clear their lines.
The wind really taking hold of that one. He wouldn't have got as much length on that as he would have wanted. So Exeter with the line out. Change at hooker for them also. Callum Young coming on. Sends it to the back. And well taken.
Ooh.
That looked a painful landing. But the show goes on. Morley trying to find a gap. Spins through a tackle. Taken down 45 metres out. The referee coming back to the infringement at the line out.
Can't take a man out whilst he's still jumping in the air. And you have to be patient in those moments. And obviously Loughborough weren't there. But this will gain more territory for Exeter as it's a very, very good punt down the flank. coming towards about 8 metres away from the try line. So a prime opportunity here for the University of Exeter.
Another chance for Young to find his man. Not quite accurate enough, but it's a penalty for Exeter.
Seemed all fair game to me, that it was a genuine contest for the ball, but obviously the referee spotted something.
Yeah, I couldn't quite make it out myself, but
I think it was just for tugging on the arms of the potential ball catchers. That's what Loughborough need to be careful about.
Going straight back for the line out though. Well taken in the air by Madison. Madison, the target in the line out. Exeter trying to walk this one over the line. They're going to do so, and that is a score for Exeter. And who comes up with that? Well, it's the man who's just come on, Callum Young, replacement hooker. Great score for him. He's only been on the pitch for less than 5 minutes.
And it's a clear-cut chance as well, and you could see how brilliantly well the Exeter forwards did with that forward momentum. Loughborough at one point seemed to push it back, but then Exeter regained their strength in that driving maul.
It was almost like they lost structure in the defence there, Loughborough, but we know how strong the Exeter driving line-outs are. Landry here just waiting for a tee. None of the substitutes fancy running that one 60 metres across the pitch from the dugout where they're nicely shielded.
And they got their warm long coats on, and this is a very, very difficult kick for Landry.
You know, you can see the posts swaying, and for a kicker that doesn't help. Landry though, not messing about.
Oh, just off the posts. He was very, very close there.
No messing about in his run up for that kick. Pings it, and that looked as when it left his foot, it was straight through the uprights, but just went nudging it onto the post.
The next score is crucial. One score for Loughborough, they're back on level terms. A score for Exeter, and they got the 4-try bonus points. So this next 17 minutes is going to be very, very interesting.
Another great clearance kick from the left boot of Sam Morley. Morley with one conversion to his name in this game already. Line out for Loughborough. 45 metres out from their own try line. A chance to try and get some possession and territory on their own, but no chance, as it's stolen at the line out by Exeter. Fumbled in contact.
Very, that is a let-off for Loughborough's Callum Lynch there, because it was a very, very poor throw, to say the least.
So Glashan will have the put in at the scrum. Just having a quiet word there with Chris Davies, which way they're going to play this one. Substitute now coming on for Loughborough. 2 substitutes. We've seen Andrew Bywater come off, as is Chris Davies. So the men who have come on:
number 22, Jack Burrows. And we can't see the man who's just come into the flank position.
I think that's Sam Hudson with the beautiful orange boots. Looks as if he was going to get his first bit of action there. Free kick.
So they can't kick this out into full, so they might as well do a Gary Owen.
Fitch sending that one high and long. Oh, fumbled by Mike Haynes of Exeter, usually so strong under the high ball. The wind and wet conditions not helping him at all there.
And an Exeter player was offside, so hence the penalty. That is absolutely brilliant from Tom Fitch. It was exactly what he needed to do.
Neither team really wanting to go for the posts in this game. You thought that's a banker straight in front of the post, keep the scoreboard ticking over. There's 15 minutes left to play.
I think Loughborough just want to replicate the try that they scored about 11-12 minutes ago here. They'll go for a catch and drive up at the front.
So you'd expect Vukasinovic, the target man, at the line out here. Callum Lynch, try scorer, looking to pick out an African violet shirt. Doesn't quite go to hand. Pounced upon as it's sent backwards. Vukasinovic working his way forward, keeping it tight as these 25-mile-an-hour gusts of wind keep charging down on the 3G rubber crumb pitch here in the centre of the Loughborough University campus. This is BUCS Super Rugby Round 9, sponsored by Rugby Vertical. Hashtag BUCS Super Rugby if you want to get involved in the action. Exeter currently sits second in the BUCS Super Rugby table. Loughborough down in 5th. Only 8 points separate these two teams, and as it stands, Exeter will win, but a dink over the top from Glashan. Glashan, oh, well taken.
It was a
by
free-for-all
Haynes.
there. It was a free-for-all because Loughborough had the penalty, so it's right bang in front of the posts, and almost sensibly Loughborough have gone for the posts again to reduce the deficit down to 2 points, and they should get it. And with 13 minutes to go, you'd think that would be enough to keep them in the game. Tom Fitch.
Got to keep the pressure on here, Loughborough. I don't want Exeter to get another score and just keep themselves too far in front. The bonus point for Loughborough certainly would prove valuable. They're clearing in 5th and 11 points in front of Durham in 6th, but trying to chase down Leeds, Beckett and Cardiff Met in front of them. And incidentally, Loughborough play Hartpury away next week, or rather 2 weeks' time, 6th of December, the final game before Christmas for them. Good strike by Tom for Fitch. His first points of the game. Exeter will have the restart, but it is Loughborough trailing by 2 points, 15 to Exeter's 17.
Now the last 12 minutes of this game are absolutely crucial. If Exeter get another score, it's the bonus point for scoring 4 tries. If Loughborough get the score, then they're right back on top. More changes on for Loughborough. Number 18, Paul Schrotter, and number 19, Rory. Oh no, sorry. Number 18, William Elt, and number 19, Sam Hudson are on.
Well taken from the restart by Will Elt. Glashan sending that one straight back into touch. Conditions just seem to be getting worse and worse and worse here on campus. Exeter will have the line out. You see the rate at which the assistant referee's flag is blowing. He's almost struggling to keep his arm upright.
Better for a kite flying contest than a rugby game, you think, Scott?
Yeah, not ideal conditions for anything this evening. Callum Young, number 16, with the line out. Not quite.
Vukasinovic, brilliant disruption of the line out again.
Young not quite finding the hands of McRae, as Loughborough now mount their own attack from inside their own half. Fitch picking out Lewis. Lewis crashing through over the top of Callum Young of Exeter. Glashan finding Brownhill. Brownhill charging into contact over Schrotter. Box kick by Glashan, well taken by Kieran Kelly. Kieran Kelly wrapped up, didn't get a chance to counter-attack. Good tackle by John Burrows. Exeter now setting up a bit of a platform from which they can try and work their way out of their own half. about 30 metres in front of their own posts here. Huchin. That's going to land perfectly for Burrows. Trying to break his way out of contact from Salma Bogue and Kieran Kelly. Loughborough just fumbling this one backwards as they're sitting inches in front of their own 22-metre line. Crashed up by Elt. Graham Slaw hits an Exeter wall. Glasham once again sending that one long into the wind, into the hands of Morley. Morley puts his own up. It's going to land in
oh dear,
Loughborough 22, but fumbled by Glasham, and Exeter, well, they'll have the put-in at the scrum inside the Loughborough 22.
It was just a box kicking game from one 22 to the other, and in the end the conditions told, and Clapham just lost the ball in contact there as he was trying to receive the catch. Pivotal scrum this for Exeter.
Both sides not really wanting to play with the ball in hand in these conditions at the moment, as it seems to be getting worse with every minute. 72 minutes played here at Loughborough. They trailed 2 points, 15-17 the score. The away side, Exeter, sits second in this BUCS Super Rugby table. Fortunate in these conditions that the sides are playing on this 3G rubber crumb pitch. Be absolute carnage if it was real turf.
Don't think we'd be able to tell the teams apart, because if it was all mud.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a great spectacle. But
Oh.
huge scrum.
Oh, that's an interesting penalty from the referee there, it has to be said.
Well, it looked as if Loughborough had the ascendancy there, but our referee judging it to be an Exeter penalty. Sam Morley pings that one into the corner. A chance here, as we saw at the start, their second try of this second half. Straight from the line out, Callum Young will look to be on the receiving end of another score. Ben Poynton, number 20 on at scrum half. Aaron Bagwell, number 20 on for Exeter.
Here we go, catch and drive. But a liner crossing.
Well, we thought that was set up perfectly for Exeter. McRae plucking that one out the air at the line out. So Loughborough try and send that one long, scuffing that one with the outside of his right boot. The rain not helping the kickers here. Towel being used by Harrison King of Loughborough here, just trying to dry that ball off before he slings it into the line out.
Exeter will be very, very disappointed with the last one.
Well taken by Yusuf. Glasham almost slipping the ball out of his hands as he went to catch it, so had to go on his own. Yusuf, the captain, giving him some support. Richard Lewis for Loughborough, just knocking that one on as he went to go on his own from the back of the ruck. And it's at this stage of the game where those errors really count. Conditions getting worse. So, first scrum for Aaron Bagwell of Exeter. In front of the Loughborough posts, 43 metres or so out from the Loughborough try line. McRae off the back of the scrum. Kelly grubbering that one deep. Well collected by Burrows. Burrows just slipping out of the tackle. Still inside his 22. So Loughborough will be able to clear this one into touch. Into the hands of Will Elt. Will Elt in the blue scrum hat for Loughborough. Glashan sends that one into the air and it bounces off the hoardings. So again, another Exeter line out inside the Loughborough half. They're working hard here to camp the home side in their own half. Just
still anyone's game here, Scott.
are they saying that came off an Exeter hand? So well taken at the line out by Elt. Fitch trying to go on his own. Needs some support. Glashan still going down the short side. Crushed up by King, the replacement hooker. Hudson, can't miss him in those orange boots. Into contact. Being sent backwards here are Loughborough. Good tackle by Felix Madison. Morley managing to pick up the loose ball. 25 metres out, Exeter.
Could be a steal here for Loughborough. Oh, very unlucky, very unlucky. I genuinely thought, who was that coming up? It was Quentin Costa, who I thought had stolen the ball for Loughborough, but obviously to no avail, and another knock-on against Loughborough. These mistakes are really starting to hamper Loughborough's efforts in if they want to try and regain the lead here.
Less than 3 minutes to play here at Loughborough. Exeter leading 17 points to 15.
Free kick.
Well, Bagwell looks as if they're going to go quick through McRae at number 8. They take the quick tap. McRae barging in to the Loughborough defence. Try scorer in this game already, James McRae. Bagwell finding Cutbill into contact, but it's stolen by Loughborough. Exeter trying to counter this one, and they win the penalty. The Exeter pressure does just not give up.
Callum Young immediately, the replacement hooker for Exeter, pointing to the posts. Him knowing that another 3 points to stretch it out by a try would probably seal the deal for his team. As Quentin Costa of Loughborough just gets up. It looks to be a shoulder injury, a bit of a stinger.
He seems okay, he's a big lad. Worked hard in this game. Ted Landry sending this one into the corner once again.
They want the bonus point. They want their fourth try.
Three tries apiece in this game. Loughborough will be hoping to stay within a losing bonus point if they do lose this game. But Exeter will have the line out. Prime opportunity here for them to, as you say, Morgan, get the bonus point. Well taken out the air by Jack Rouse, the Exeter number 5.
Here we go, catch and drive versus what they'll be wanting to doing. Penalty. For me, that could be a penalty try to Exeter.
Loughborough stopping that one in their tracks, perhaps illegally. Callum Young says it doesn't matter, I'm going to go straight first into contact. Cutbill has a go of his own. Still working hard here. Loughborough solid in defence at the moment. McRae trying to muscle his way through. He gets an extra half a yard. The referee coming back for the penalty.
Could be a yellow. Yes, it's going to be a yellow. And it's for the try scorer.
Max Hill penalised there. Well, if Exeter don't go on to score before the final whistle, they won't mind that yellow card. "80 minutes on the clock here, so this you'd expect to be the last play of the game unless the referee's watch says otherwise." Callum Young, replacement hooker, drawing the ball off. Vukusinovic almost stealing that one, but it's still in the hands of Exeter. McRae going on his own. Doesn't manage to get over the gain line. Wind battering down on the pitch here in Loughborough. Surely the last play of the game. Max Hill just been sin-binned for a yellow card. Receiving a yellow card, rather.
If Exeter bring this out wide, they've got numbers.
McRae at the centre of everything for Exeter, but it is a penalty to Loughborough. Well, not sure who was a saviour at the bottom of that. I don't know if you caught it, Morgan, but
here we go, chance for Loughborough.
Sending that one straight into touch. Still time on the clock.
That was a brilliant kick in all fairness.
Fair play to him, he kicked for the far touch as well, didn't go short. It seems as if for certainly this last quarter, Loughborough have been camped well inside their own half, and they've done well to weather the storm quite literally this evening. Callum Young picking out Vukusinovic perfectly. They're keeping this one tight, trying to walk it forward. Rouse and Strong trying to snaffle this one. Oof, Costa almost knocking that one on, but well collected in the end. Musa Yusuf keeping it in Loughborough hands. Coming down the short side, Vukusinovic over the top, Bittrim now popping up on the left wing. He manages to gain 5 metres by skipping inside and back out again. Harrison King into contact. Glashan going well so far, trying to pick out a hole.
Good spot defence from Exeter.
Well, this is a good sight to see Loughborough for the first time in a while into the Exeter half. Ooh, well taken by Bittrim, a bit of a risky pass. He's still going.
Another penalty for a high tackle against Tom, against Alex Clashan. Now it's going to be very, very interesting to see whether Chris Davis has already gone off and Tom Hitchin is going to kick for the corner, not taking the points. Very, very interesting indeed.
Well, the Loughborough supporters cheering them on as they start to walk down towards the extra try line. Not much time left.
In fact, we've gone into overtime.
The clock says 80. The referee's watch definitely saying different.
3 minutes into overtime from our clocks here.
Pressure for Exeter. Pressure for Harrison King of Loughborough at the line out. The captain, Yusuf, just fumbling it, but are they going to go over here? Oh no, the referee, knock on. And what an ending to this game. Not sure who dotted that one over the line, but it had been knocked on.
It was a knock on there by Loughborough's captain, Musa Yusuf. He'll be disappointed with that, as will the Loughborough side, not to come away with the victory, almost playing 4 minutes into extra time. But great playing from both sides in what has to be said are atrocious conditions.
Well, a huge end to that game. We thought there was nothing left on the clock as Loughborough kicked for the touch. But they managed to work their way down for one final line-out drive. Unfortunately, it was fumbled. And Exeter, after a big journey up here to the East Midlands, they march on. The final score here from the Loughborough University 3G Rubber Crumb. Loughborough 15, Exeter 17. And Morgan, what an enticing contest that was here this evening. Absolutely torrid conditions and both sides playing with great spirit and great intent. It was a very solid contest. We thought that Exeter might find this a lot easier than they did. Loughborough showing their quality and strength in depth from the changes they've had in the last week or so. But a man of the match, could you pick one from either side this evening?
I think that for Loughborough, Vukašinović played extremely well, but for me it has to be Alex Clasher, the number 9. I thought that his box kicking this evening, one did go out way out, but his box kicking was just fantastic. For Exeter, I think that you could have said McRae was excellent as a loose forward. Mike Hain was very, very good, but it has to be given to Ted Landry, who really bossed the game and really controlled it and pulled the strings for his backline to do all of the counter-attacking that they did. And I think that it was just a case that Exeter, when they got into the 22, they took their chances more than Loughborough did.
So let's take a look at the highlights. Some tight quarters in the first half. Of course it ended 7-7, but Loughborough got the scoring underway. Inside ball here, lovely from Glashan to Bittrim. Quick ball once again, and when Loughborough got quick ball and Glashan was there, it certainly helped them. Great flat ball to Max Hill. Look at that for a line. Came in, straight back out again. And Exeter hand didn't even touch him.
And you can just see the great running from the fullback of Loughborough to their number 8. Great running from Max Hill there.
So it was 17 minutes to get our first score. Solid conversion in the end though from Chris Davies. Just to tell you, next week the Rugby Vertical BUCS Super Rugby live stream heads down to the southwest. We'll be live from Topsham, where Exeter take on Nottingham Trent University there. Be certainly looking to come away with 5 points from that. Nottingham Trent not having the best of seasons. Some valiant performances so far from them. But the next 2 games before the Christmas break both feature Exeter, Loughborough to Hartpury on the 6th of December. But this was an early opportunity to score, just not quite getting there. We thought it was a green hand that dotted it down, but after consulting the assistant referee, John Hughes was deemed to have got there first for Loughborough, but the resulting line out, look at this, straight off the line out. A beautiful score for Sam Leahy. Linsell plucking it out the air at the line out, and that was at the end of the first half with the last play. This is almost one of the first plays of the second half. Exeter just working their way across the pitch. They crabbed their way sideways And James McRae, the number 8 enforcer of the back row, he dotted down. Ted Landry with the conversion attempt unsuccessful. Chris Davis with the penalty attempt also unsuccessful. But a good response from Loughborough, working their way from the line out, trying to keep it close. But in the end, Sam Graham-Slaw for Loughborough getting the try. Conversion again not successful. The wind causing havoc with the boot this evening. And it was time for Exeter to have a go of their own. Substitute finisher, hooker, Callum Young, at the back of a steamroller drive from Exeter. He dotted down over the line in the corner. Landry, look at that. The wind, you saw how much that curve there. It was a bit like the Matrix, wasn't it? Coming off the upright. Fitch nudging Loughborough within 2 points. And the final score here, Loughborough 15, Exeter 17. And Morgan, perhaps you'll try the match as well just before we close.
I think that all of the tries have been very, very good, but I would have to say that the first try that Exeter scored in the second half, that was the crucial one, because it came 2 minutes after the second half, and a try either side for Exeter was very, very crucial to their win up here today. So they're obviously going to get 4 points from the victory today. They're not going to be happy that they didn't get the bonus point try, especially with the last minute pressure that they had in the 78th minute, but then they conceded a penalty to allow Loughborough to almost pinch it right back at the end. So I think that Exeter will be disappointed to not get the bonus point, but equally for Loughborough, at least they've got a losing bonus point that they could add to their tally.
So a great game here this evening. Close contest between Loughborough and Exeter, but it was Exeter that managed to pull away in the end. Next week, as we said before, a 2 p.m. kickoff down at Topsham. Exeter take on Nottingham Trent University. So if your lunchtime or next Wednesday afternoon isn't so busy, tune in on Rugby Vertical for round 10 of the BUCS Super Rugby. Thanks very much to Morgan for joining us this evening. I've been Scott Eburn. Until next week, thanks very much for listening. Bye-bye.